Hey, so I watched a great film the other day based on a true story, Ordinary Angels. It opens in cinemas here in New Zealand next week, March the 14th. And the film stars two times Oscar winner Hilary Swank, who plays the role of Sharon Stevens. Now, Sharon's an interesting character. She's a struggling alcoholic hairdresser with a big heart and has this renewed sense of purpose when she meets a widowed father working hard to care for his two daughters, one of his daughters critically ill, waiting for a liver transplant. This fierce woman single-handedly rallies an entire community to help. In case I didn't say, it is based on a true story. And joining me on the show today to talk about Ordinary Angels is producer Andy Erwin. Good morning, Andy. Welcome to the program.
Good morning. I loved hearing your description. That was eloquently said. Very beautiful.
Thank you. First of all, congratulations. I have watched the film. I was actually sitting out in the main office watching it, and I was doing this. I knew I was making noises. I was like, and then I was laughing. Then I was having a bit of a cry. Is that the kind of response you hope from your audience?
Absolutely. I mean, it is a fun ride, for sure. It's got all the emotions. You will use every bit of them throughout this journey and this story. It's a special one. I think it really ultimately what it delivers is this rush of hope. Hope is kind of the signature of the stories that we want to tell. But to get there, the journey of this family and this father fighting for his daughter's life. As a parent, it will leave you on the edge of your seat. And then when the family wins, the whole audience feels like they win too. So it's a
Yeah.
special one.
Yeah, it does. It certainly had that impact on me. So this character that you've brought to life, the main character, Sharon Stevens, in these parts in New
Mhm.
Zealand and Te Reo Māori, we would call her a wahine toa, which means a
I
strong,
like that.
yeah, a wahine toa, which means a strong woman. But she's also got that conflict going on in her life, which always makes a good character. What sort of challenges did you face bringing a story that's based on a true story to the screen, Andy?
I love that it connects on that level for a strong woman like her. I think for uh, this one, it's this unlikely hero because Sharon is, the most unlikely person to be the hero of the story because she is a mess. She's really struggling with a lot of different things, a lot of different demons. But in that, she finds this purpose that's bigger than herself. And it's this little girl's story that's fighting for her life. And her father has already lost his wife to the same illness and is owes hundreds of thousands of dollars in medical bills.
Mm.
And she just gets this passion that I don't know how to change the world, but I know how to fight to change that one little girl's story in her life.
Yeah,
And so she rallies the whole community around. And does not she doesn't do well with boundaries, and she doesn't do well taking no for an answer. And Hilary Swank just brings this force of nature to this woman that's truly special.
yeah, for sure. So how do you go about getting an actress of Hilary Swank's caliber attached to a project like this?
We almost didn't try because our parent company of Lionsgate said, "Guys, you're going to waste your time
You're
because there is
dreaming.
no way that there's no way you're getting Hilary Swank." And we said, "Well, what if we just at least tried?" And we had heard that she had a story that was connected to the idea of organ donation because her father was a lung transplant recipient, and we just had a hunch that it would really strike a chord with her. And she read it and she was in tears and said, "I have to do this movie." And it was 2 weeks before we started filming, and she said, "I'm
Oh,
flying to Canada where we filmed the movie." Like she's like, "I'm flying to Canada whether we have a deal or not. I'm doing the movie."
wow.
And so she shows up on set, and it's very similar to her character. I've never, John Gunn, the director for the film, really collaborated with her in a special way, and I've never seen an actress that committed to a role. Like
Wow.
she came in and just brought this energy that was a bit intimidating because she was just so focused. And so to have her and then this character Ed Schmidt, that's the father, played by Alan Richardson from the Reacher series. Alan just is this grounded blue collar individual, and the two of them are just such fantastic dance partners. It's a treat when you watch somebody at the top of their game acting like that. Like it's a special performance.
Yeah. Have you Have you heard of the New Zealand director Taika Waititi?
I love Taika. I met
Yeah.
him once at a party.
Yeah, so my niece, who's only 22, just got a lucky break. Her first time as a newbie, got an internship on Taika Waititi's latest film, working in the director's
Wow.
department. Not just a runner, but in the director's department. I mean, that's what you call a
Okay,
lucky.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, I'm jealous too. She rang me on my birthday the other day, singing happy birthday to me. I said, "What are you doing?" She said, "Oh, I'm just wrangling the extras." 22, and I'm like, man, I'm jealous. But tell me, for you, is it exciting being on set, having done probably quite a
You
few
know,
films yourself?
I think, for me, I've got an old actor friend named John Voight, and John, is in his 80s now, and he's an Oscar winner.
Oh, he's amazing.
And, you would think that John at this point in his career would be like, I've been there, done that. But every time I see him step on a set, he always elbows me and he says, "Hey kid, look at what we get to do for a living. This is amazing. Let's go have some fun." And I think for those of us that that tell stories, I think you see that same kind of joy in Taika. Like I remember I was at a an award show party, and there's a lot of big deal people there that I'm way lesser than, and so I would just wait to see who would come in the door, just kind of watch people. And Taika walked in with a really famous actress, and they were kind of sticking their head in the party to see who was there to see if they're going to stay. And I walked up to him and awkwardly talked about how much I loved his movies, and he was really, really sweet. But like, you see that kind of joy in Taika and other people like that, where those of us that get to tell stories for the living and it kind of spread hope to people, there's no better job in the world than getting to kind of bring these stories to life. And
Yeah,
really, really privileged to be able to do that.
I hear you. As a producer, how much creative control do you have on a set? I mean, I was looking. There's lots of producers involved. What were you kind of
Yeah.
focusing on in the making of this film, Andy?
With it, we have a very collaborative effort. Our company, Kingdom Story Company, is the main production company behind, the films that we do. And then some of those I step into the director's chair, and other ones I produce. The thing that's been a joy lately is we've developed a stage that we share with other filmmakers that want to do stories of faith and hope. And so, in a story like this, John Gunn directed this movie, has written the majority of my films, and this was the one that he wanted to direct. And to slide over, from a director's chair to a producer's chair just means you're just there to empower other people's vision and their dream of what they're wanting to communicate. And so we don't. It's amazing what you can accomplish when you don't care who gets the credit.
Right.
And so we just have a kind of company where we have a bunch of us storytellers that we all speak into each other's films, creatively helping us shape each other's stories. And if we do it right, all of us should have our fingerprints on the final product.
I like that approach.
So it's definitely a best idea wins approach where we check our egos at the door.
Yes.
And so this one is very much John Gunn, and I think it's that. I mean, the New Zealand kind of a lot of the friends I have from New Zealand, it's that same kind of mentality. It's very much of like what gets the job done. You see that in Peter Jackson's work and others. It's just it takes a village, and this is a story that took a village, but it's John Gunn's story, and I'm glad to be a part of helping it come to life.
Yeah. So there's the part, I don't want to give too much away, so I'll just say there's some snow, there's some extreme weather, and they've got to get somewhere, and it's really important. It's sort of towards the end of the film. There was real snow there, right? How do you deal with all those sort of challenges?
Oh, yeah, yeah. That one. I think it made me want to do our next movie as like a tropical island movie in Fiji, but it was definitely every bit of that snow was real and every bit of it was cold. We filmed it in Winnipeg in Canada.
Yeah.
And it was, the temperatures got down, well below, freezing, for the majority of the shoot. And so, it was cold. It was really cold. It stayed fairly close to zero the majority of the time. And, it was challenging. John, the director, really wanted it to be authentic. He didn't want it to be visual effects. So, it was definitely the coldest thing that we've ever done. And it shows on, we have a saying around here that pain is temporary, but film is forever.
Yeah,
And so
nice.
every bit of it's earned. Every bit of
Yeah,
it's earned.
I might take that.
Yeah,
Put in,
steal
yeah,
it.
steal it, steal it. Hey, so the main two characters, I mean, obviously it's all based on a true story, but the likes of Sharon Stevens, played by Hilary Swank, and Ed by Alan Richson, portraying someone in real life. Did they get to spend any time with the real life characters? Like, were they involved in all at all?
Yeah, they got to be on set a little bit, and then the biggest joy of the whole thing was before we showed it to an audience in theaters, we had a special screening at the church that it happened at in Kentucky, and we invited a lot of the people that were actually involved in the story, including Sharon and Ed and daughters and Ed's daughters, and so we had this moment where there's 2,100 people in the theater or in the audience watching it in the church, and at the end of it, the pastor said who was here that helped shovel snow from the end of the movie. And a whole group of people stood up, and
Oh,
then the whole
wow.
audience just erupted in applause. And so, to have a group of people that they showed up to help their neighbor, 30 years ago, and never knowing that they were living a movie. And so it's a treat. So they were, and then the other part that was really cool is at the premiere, Hilary was there, everybody was at the premiere in New York, and the real Sharon Stevens was there, and she walked the carpet. But before she walked into all the fancy photographers and all that type of stuff, she had her sparkly dress on, of course. She walked outside and greeted all the people working the event outside that were helping, and she greeted each one of them and shook their hand, and she said, "I'm just like you. I'm normal, just like you."
Mm,
And I think that's the point of the movie is Sharon wasn't the movie star. She was the every person, the regular person. She was just that strong woman that you talked about, and that just decided to make a difference.
yeah.
And that's who she really is. And it was a treat to have her involved.
Mm. Andy Ewan, once again, congratulations on a great film. And thank you for your time today.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the time, and can't wait for audiences to see it there in New Zealand.
Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to click on like, subscribe, and notifications. See you next time.